Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
This is the monthly live call-in show, Talking Trains with her and me,
And him.
John, with
Oh,
Michelle and
him.
John.
Wait.
Her. I had to think about how to
I
do that
know.
at first. Yeah, so this is December 15th. It's 4 p.m. on the West Coast anyway. I think that makes it 5 for you, right, Michelle?
It is 5. Yep.
Yeah, and it's whatever it is, wherever you're watching. But it's a fairly cold day here today, kind of stormy looking. And we're going to
I think
be,
it's cold across most of America today. I think that wind is just blowing it
yeah.
across. Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about Amtrak this
Yep.
time. Now, I don't know if we need to go into any of the historical stuff about when it was developed and why it was developed and how it's run or anything like that. You can go to Wikipedia for that.
Yeah, I'm not sure I could even tell that story. I don't know enough about it
Yeah,
to
I
tell
know
that
it.
story.
I know enough to say that it was in the early 70s when it was started.
Okay.
And big reason why it was started, it was because passenger rails just not profitable for private companies, but
So the
apparently
class
they,
ones were quitting, right? They weren't doing it
yeah,
anymore.
the class ones were all shutting down their long distance routes or routes, however you say it, wherever you live. And so the government said, hey, now this is not okay because this is a vital transportation or
Right.
vital part of our transportation infrastructure. So we're going to start Amtrak. And
I
so
wonder how they got the name. American Tracks?
probably something like that. It's a shame that there was a guy that I knew who has since died a number of years ago who actually was one of the first 100 employees at Amtrak.
Oh my gosh,
And
that's amazing.
yeah, he would have been a really great person to be on this show, but unfortunately, trying to remember now, he was on the Caltrain board of directors for a while as well. That's our local commute here, and
Okay.
every because I haven't talked to him in such a long time, I always forget his name. So it'll probably come to me later.
Can't
This
help
is
you on that one. Sometimes I know them, but
Well, right, but you know what's so strange about it, and this is how brains don't work, at least in my case. I remember his address, but I don't remember his name.
oh
Can
my
you
gosh, you
imagine
could
that?
drive to his house and knock on his door and be like, "I've forgotten your name. Can you tell me your name?" I'm holding my camera up because I can't. So just so everybody knows, I can't actually see John talking to me because of the way we had to do the video tonight. So if I keep looking to the side, it's because I'm trying to see StreamYards. So I'm a bit of a mess. So I'll
Well,
try to look here.
you're a mess, Michelle, but you're our mess, so that's
I
okay.
know. So
Yeah. So, so we have guests for this special occasion,
we
and
do.
our first guest I want to bring up, but I was hoping that you could give us somewhat of an introduction.
Okay, yes. So I had the pleasure of hosting my very first rail tour in June of this year as part of the OSCAL National Convention. And our first guest is actually Charles and his wife Barbara went on this rail tour with me. They survived it. I really think I should have bought t-shirts for them all that said I survived Michelle's rail tour. And they kept me laughing the whole week. Love them. We've stayed in touch. And so they recently took a trip on Amtrak. So when I wanted an Amtrak theme for this show, I thought of Charles. And so let's bring Charles on and introduce him.
Yeah. Well, good
Hello, everybody.
afternoon.
Hello,
Yeah.
Michelle. Hello, John. Great to
Hello,
be here.
Charles. This is Charles
Oh,
Malinowski, one of my friends.
Thank you. Yes, it was. I'll have to add that Michelle, you were absolutely super hosting our adventure, the bucket list of Colorado rail adventures. And what recalls a quote comes to my mind. I can't get it exact. I'm not going to try. But Mark Twain had a quote about if you really want to know somebody, travel with them. And I was great to get to know Michelle. And yes, I would go anywhere, any place, anytime with her. Well, both Barbara and I should add
Yeah.
that. My wife and I would go.
Barbara keeps you in line, so we got to have Barbara.
That's right. In addition to that, the really neat thing is the Indiana chapter of the Colorado trip. We get together monthly. Matter of fact, our Christmas party, the 8 of us are getting together on Monday night. So, thanks again, Michelle, for hosting. That was a really a super time.
I think it's true. I think travel is the best way to make a deep friendship, really, travel with someone, and they're lasting friendships. So I guess it's about having that adventure together or something.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the shared joys and sorrows.
Yeah.
Lots of joys on that particular trip. So, and then one of the things that I mentioned to Michelle, trying to put a presentation together on, or a discussion about the Amtrak trip that my wife and I just took on. It's really interesting because for years, yes, I'm a rail fan and a model railroader, and I've tried to get her to take Amtrak. And living in Indianapolis, which for folks out there, you may be familiar with the Beech Grove, Indiana Amtrak shops. A huge operation for Amtrak east of the Mississippi, but our Amtrak service is very limited. So in addition to that, we didn't really have a good destination. So finally, we had the time, and we were able to pick the destination of Northern California. We have a very dear friend, Wendy, who lives in Santa Rosa. So we did our adventure from Indianapolis out to Davis, California.
Nice.
Yeah, so I was kind of texting with Charles and Barbara throughout their trip. I was supposed to go see them, but COVID had a different plan for me. So I didn't get to go see them when they were in Denver. But I just thought it would be fun to find out, what is the experience of actually having a room on Amtrak? Like, we've seen the travel blog writers, and they give you a different point of view because they're usually paid. So I wanted to hear what it's like for Charles and Barbara to travel on Amtrak.
Yes, so. Absolutely, Michelle. That's exactly like you've pre-read my notes.
I didn't, but I'm glad I guessed right.
No, I didn't share them with you. So yeah, this is all off the cuff. I'm so happy that I did this just for one reason. So talking about the good, the bad, and ugly, I really was focused on the bad and the ugly parts. Now, I want to talk about them, but I don't want to put the emphasis on them to scare anybody away. And yeah, Michelle, right on.
I think it's more of a learning experience, like understanding, so that you have a good travel experience. Because I love Amtrak, and I know we're not bashing them tonight, but we're talking about what it's realistically like to travel.
Yes, and that's it. There were 2 channels on YouTube that I went to time and again to get some. I liked the 2 people who were presenting about Amtrak travel, and I just think about. I'm not sure if there was some connection there, but they didn't have the experience that I had, and it's also things have changed. We're coming out of COVID, or at least a certain level of COVID. Those rules still apply. And, like I said, it was, I'm not bashing. I want to be realistic about the negatives, but it was really neat because my notes are so heavy on how fun and exciting and different it was.
Okay.
By the way, I remembered that person's name that I forgot.
Okay.
His name was Art Lloyd, and he was a really great guy. So anyway, should we bring up the presentation? What do you think? Is it time?
Yeah, let's roll.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
Charles, I have to be the Vanna White of moving the screen tonight, guys. So
well, when we were practicing for everybody out there, yes.
Whoops, sorry.
You
come back. Sorry.
Oh, we got a preview.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're old enough to remember, but this is like the film strips. So when I hit the click, you'll have to turn the film strip.
Yeah, you could do the ding, like you remember in school. They go ding, and then they change the slide. I don't know if anybody else is old enough to have had that. That's how I learned the Dewey Decimal System. I don't know about you guys, but okay. Tell me when.
Oh, hang on here. I'm having a little issue that with that file we were trying to send earlier. My email's trying to do that. My apologies. Don't save. Okay, there we go. Hopefully we got that ready. Okay, well, yes, the Amtrak adventure, like I mentioned, Indianapolis, Indiana to Davis round trip. We traveled, that was late November. So we started off on November 18th. We were out in California for Thanksgiving. And next slide, please. And came back. Ooh, I'm getting full screen here. So
Yeah.
I lost you guys. But so
do you want to see us, or is this okay?
I can look at me. This is
Okay.
just fine. This is just fine. So if that works for you guys. So this is just slightly over 5,000 miles, 5,200 miles, Indianapolis to Davis. We were on two separate segments, if you will. We rode the Cardinal, which is a 3 times a week operation up to Chicago, and then the California Zephyr, which is a daily operation between basically Chicago and Emeryville, what I refer to as San Francisco. Like we mentioned, one of the things that I like about putting this together is that what you'll see on the YouTube videos, travel logs, seem to be a little bit biased. I also wanted to talk about what it's like for people who are 60 years and older. So I just turned 60 in November, and some of the challenges, there are physical challenges when you've got two people in that roomette together. So that's one of the things I want to emphasize on. And John, please, if I'm going on here and if I have to shorten up a little bit, please get the hook out at any time. All right.
So
I'll just
far,
start
so
flipping
good.
through your slides. I'll just be click, click,
Yeah,
click.
just move it along. Move it along. So going to the next slide. So again, we had two different experiences, the Cardinal and the Zephyr. So can we move to the next slide, please?
Oh, Michelle, you're really good at that.
I might have hit it twice. Oh, we're okay.
So,
Okay.
one thing to know, because we were so far east, Amtrak operates the Viewliners, and these are the Metro coaches. I'm not an expert on that. This is not train talk. This is travel talk. So we really liked these coaches. They were inside. They were clean, comfortable. Was just a great experience. I felt like we were flying first class. One of the problems with coach, I will say, is that this train, the windows were not washed. The Amtrak staff who were inside the cars did a fabulous job in maintaining the cleanliness of the car. But you'll see, next slide, please. Oh, yes, there's Barbara, my wife. Seeing America. Depends where you get seated in the coach, too. Since our ride was only 6 hours from Indianapolis to Chicago, we didn't bother changing a seat, and we were leaving at 6 a.m. in the morning. Next. One of the things we did, this is a shot of the Crown Plaza Hotel, and that was rebuilt, part of the redevelopment efforts of Indianapolis decades ago. They took the train sheds and covered them up and put in modern hotel, and you can actually sleep in a Pullman car in the hotel here. One of our rooms was to the right. I would say we did not have a Pullman. We had a standard room. Again, the reason we stayed overnight at the Crown Plaza, Amtrak departs Indianapolis westbound at 6 a.m., I believe. So we wanted to make sure we didn't miss our connection there. And the folks at the Crown Plaza were really super. They actually walked you out the back door so you could minimize your interaction with the street people, shall we say. Going all the way around on the sidewalk could be a bit of a challenge.
That's
So
really cool. I didn't know you could sleep in a Pullman. I'm gonna have to go do this.
well, this is one of the draws when the NMRA had their national convention in downtown Indianapolis. So I'm not sure if the Union Station was part of the convention activities, but yeah, that was really neat. So
Okay.
next one. So yes, so here we are, and I can't say enough about how beautiful the Denver station is. This is the Indianapolis station that's shared with the Greyhound bus terminal. Um, it it was safe. It was relatively clean, but as you can see in the back of the picture here, you do have some homeless folks. I'm not sure if it doesn't really matter. Were they homeless? Were they travelers? This really was not a good feel. And I just have strong feelings that for spending nearly $3,000 on a travel adventure, this is how it starts. I'm not trying to be snobby, but
Is this the main Indianapolis station?
yeah. Well, this is street level. What you're looking at here, this is the waiting room, street level, and in the far, let's see, would be my far right. You can see the Amtrak office, which what they said was supposed to be manned. Unfortunately, it wasn't. Behind me, there's a set of stairs that go up to the track. And again, it really wasn't thinking about taking photos for a presentation, but behind that giant I-beam is the elevator that gets you to track level. So if you need assistance of physical limitations, or you have big ass bags like we have, which is a great advantage about Amtrak checking bags. Unfortunately, we did not have a station agent, so that was a bit of a downside.
You also didn't have a red cap. I've used red caps with
Oh
Amtrak
yes,
before,
yes.
which was a
So,
wonderful experience.
yeah, we'll talk about. I'll mention about the luggage when we get to that later.
Okay.
So, like I said, this was not a good start, good feeling here. Next, please. And like I said, this is a view of Indiana, sunrise somewhere in north central Indiana. The windows absolutely filthy. They need to fix this. Next, please. I just last couple of points in Indianapolis. Well, that's about it. Yeah. So the Union Station, again, overnight staying. The waiting area was kind of icky. And I think we're good on that. So that's enough. And I don't know if anybody has questions. The Cardinal, the return trip was really nice. It arrives in Indianapolis at midnight. Because we had sleeper, we were able to walk out with the sleeping car people to our coach on the Cardinal. So that is something that's included with your sleeper service, no matter what. If you traveled sleeper that day, you get all the benefits of that. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So
About their okay. And should we answer the red cap question just real quick so they're not confused? Every time I go to the East Coast, I've been in Philadelphia and Boston, both had red cap service, meaning I could check my bag with a red cap attendant and they would get my bag to the train. I would leave early with the red cap and my bag and board early on the train. And it was a free service. I just tipped them.
So it's like some kind of valet or something?
It is. It's like it's a wonderful service. If you go through like the big stations like Philadelphia, Boston, they have that service and it's wonderful. I don't know if it's an East Coast thing. I've never seen it here. They don't have it in Denver. I don't know about California. I guess we'll find out from Charles.
Well, yeah, that's a great point, and I think a good explanation. Yeah, the red cap. I think that goes back to the Pullman era, where you did have the bag guys were wearing their red caps. I wish they would have had it in Indianapolis, but you were on your own for bags. So again, that's the downside, that when we got to the coach, we literally had to pull up our bags on our own, and there really wasn't any assistance for people who needed it. We did help some folks, some senior people, and again, you can there's a very gracious bag policy, and I'll talk about that. Yes, Chicago. When we got to Chicago, it was very nice. We walked off the train into Union Station, and the baggage carousel, much like the airport, and the baggage desk was waiting for us right there in the main lobby. And you walked up to the counter and you gave them your bags. They give you the ticket, and away you go. So our monster bags, and again, luggage is very important. What you're going to take in that roomette is, or what you're not going to take is that Barney purple giant Barney luggage.
I am so shocked that Barbara took that big of a bag. I have to give her a bit of a hard time because she was teasing me about overpacking. So just saying.
Overpacking. But the beautiful thing about Amtrak is you can, if you're using the baggage service, you can overpack. I think each bag, you're limited to 2 checked bags, 50 pounds each. So go crazy. Wow. When we did get to, so when we got to Chicago, we gave them our 2 bags, rather large, one particularly rather large, like you pointed out. And then in Davis, they took it off the train, and away we went. So we were right there on the station platform. The return trip, Davis, California, did have a station agent, so we were able to get our bags ticketed. And once we gave them to the agent, we didn't see them until Indianapolis. It was fantastic. It was the bag service was good, much like your Red Cap experience.
Okay, well, good.
So what I want to talk about the next slide. Oh, hold on. Thanks to Jeremy Fuzz Frankovis. This is the photograph that Michelle passed along to me that Fuzz took. Actually, Barbara and I are having breakfast in the diner as we're heading west.
Cool.
Yep. So this is them coming into Denver. So I have a lot of real photographer friends, and one of them's coming on a little bit later to talk about photographing Amtrak. John Crisanti is, but Jeremy happened to be out that morning, so I sent out and said, "Hey, if you guys are out there, catch this train."
Well, and the amazing thing, certainly amazing thing about Michelle, that she knows everybody, but the technology is that we're texting. I got the photo on my phone, and I shared it with Conductor Brad. You all might know Conductor Brad from Amtrak.
Brad Schwartzwelder, yeah.
Oh, yes, we know all about Brad.
You know Brad. Yeah.
Stay tuned. Photos coming. Next, please.
Okay.
Okay. So here's Barbara and I. The Chicago Union Station is absolutely beautiful. If you're riding coach, you'll be sitting on the benches behind us, and it's a really amazing structure, and Amtrak and the city have done a marvelous job in maintaining it. So and they were just getting set up for Christmas. Next, please. So when you travel Amtrak and you book a sleeper car, you will get access to what they call the Metropolitan Lounge. And this is the Chicago Metropolitan Lounge. It is absolutely luxurious. I have never stayed in the airline executive club, the premium that we all drool about. Maybe some of you have good fortune to take that in. That's what this was, just absolutely amazing. Next slide. And they have snacks. Due to COVID, there's, again, we're in the same restrictions. You can't make yourself an espresso, but the coffee pots were out, water, soda, snacks. This is, I'm not sure. So help me out, John, Michelle. The photo without the snacks, what side is that? Is that left or right to the audience?
It's the right side of their screen.
Okay. the right side. So the right side of the slide, looking down the hallway, that's looking out into the lobby of Union Station. To the right of this, there's another very large area that has multiple TVs. There's also a play place for children. So if you're taking your kids or maybe your grandchildren for an adventure, there's a room there. And there's also a second level that's even quieter than this.
So
It looks
this
pretty
is a
deluxe.
perk to purchasing a roomette or a room.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh yeah. So we had about a 3-hour layover. Next, please. So it was really really terrific. So here's 2 shots of Union Station in Chicago. We were given the cattle call to. We were personally escorted out to the train as the sleeper people. So it was very, very convenient. You can see in this photo that some folks are actually carrying some pretty big bags. And again, that's something to think about. You can put your bags in a rack on the first floor of the train. I would have felt very comfortable from a safety standpoint, and there's security devices that you can look into these days. You can put a tracker chip on them, and definitely they need to be locked up, but didn't have any problem with that. Next slide.
I've traveled with a big bag on Amtrak just to Glenwood and back in Colorado, and I have no problem sticking my large suitcase in that bin right there where you go in on the lower level. Like, I'm glad to be rid of the bag, and I'm glad they have a space for it.
Really great point, because
So,
for you West Coasties, that's really important, because when you get into the and some of our Amtrak experts would tell us, when you get into those superliner cars, you're walking directly on to the floor. There's no steps. On the East Coast, you have to walk the stairs like the old Pullman. There's 3 or 4 steps to get in there. So you have to drag that bag. Although it's right there, you still have to go through that effort. So,
okay.
And kind of talking about stations, this is the Amtrak station in Davis, California. Apparently, Southern Pacific. It really well maintained. Amtrak California has a lot of trains going through here because Sacramento, which would be up the line, is one of their major destinations for daily commuter. So although we were sitting outside, the lobby was available for Amtrak patrons, and it was clean and manned. So again, we checked the bags there. Very professional folks. One of the things, again, like I mentioned, the boarding, when you get that roomette, you go on first. So you're basically first class passengers that are getting on board before everybody else. When we boarded the train here in one of these intermediate stops, like Davis, we didn't realize that what we should have done is gone directly to any sleeper, and we could have boarded there. Unfortunately, we got on at the coach car. So it really wasn't a problem. The conductor said, just wait the 15 minutes till we get to Sacramento. And we just walked down the platform to our waiting car attendant. And she was worried about us because they know who's going to be in when and where they're picking up. So that wasn't a big problem. But if you were at a way out in the boondocks, you'd have to walk from car to car. So you'd have to go up in the upper levels and dragging your bags along with you. And that would have been not so comfortable. So again, another reason to take small bags. Next, please. You folks in Denver should be so proud of your station. I was These photos are on the return trip, and I just can't say enough about how beautiful. I felt like I was back in Europe when we've done some European travels, and it is. I'm very impressed. You should be very proud of your facility. This is one of the stops that I believe we had about 50 minutes on the schedule layover. And that's one of the fun things about Amtrak travel is you can jump off the train for a little bit and wander around. In the Denver Union Station, you do have access to coffee and snacks. I think there's a bar there. But the most important thing when jumping off the train, they will not wait for you.
Yeah.
So make sure you're back on when you get the call.
I was going to say you take a risk jumping off the train because
Yes.
unless you're at a crew change point, they don't always stay too long.
Well, I think Denver is a significant stop for crew change, and that's where we picked up conductor Brad. And I believe they do some refueling, maybe not. I'm not sure. But like I said, on the schedule, we were scheduled for a 50-minute layover.
Yeah, they typically try to give them 50 minutes if it's on time.
If it's on time. And we'll talk about on-time performance and what you shouldn't do that I did was absolutely absolutely horrible what I did. The station.
Was I supposed to change? Sorry.
Not just yet.
Okay.
But thank you. Denver was beautiful. Multiple 10 to 15 minute smoke breaks, and again, those were fun to snap a picture. It was really fun too to see the grandparents. There was when we were in Winter Park, Colorado. It starts with an F.
Fraser. You were in Fraser.
Yes, technically Fraser.
It's Winter Park, Fraser. Yeah.
There was we actually wound up having breakfast with Grandma and Grandpa who were going back to Wisconsin. Their kids lived 2 blocks from the station and Fraser, so they were able to come to it was very cute. They're getting little hugs and especially this is the first time they'd seen them since COVID. So another little thing about Amtrak that you're not going to get at the airline. Everyone's we're moving, we're fast, and all that stuff. So now we're going to move on to the next slide in the roomette during the daytime. Oh, and here we go. Speaking of, there's Derek Brown again via Michelle. Here we are. We're actually backing into the station in Denver on November 28th.
Yep. So it's kind of hard to see, but you got the headlights there, and you can see the city in the background. So
yeah.
Another one of my photographer friends.
and yes, like John mentioned, I did not take this. Don't expect to get off the train and get this shot.
Right.
You'll be either waiting for that. I don't know how
you need to let Michelle know you're on the train and what day, and hopefully one of the photographers are out there.
Well, and Michelle, and if you're coming through Indianapolis, Michelle's got a guy who will get you a photo.
There you go. His name is Charles, I think.
You know a guy?
Yeah, Michelle knows a guy.
Sorry, I changed again. Are you good? Okay.
Oh, this is good. So no, what we're talking about is we're talking about station stops. Beautiful Reno. If you're into poured concrete, it's quite amazing. But I threw this in for our true rail fans out there. The eastbound photo, we had no problem, and you've seen this before, but I believe the westbound is kind of unusual. Our second unit, our second General Electric unit on the westbound Zephyr was misbehaving, and in Sparks, they put on this UP 5812, and there were rail fans. They certainly changed. I didn't know if it was an unusual thing. Michelle and John, would this be something that you would say would be unusual?
Yeah.
It's somewhat unusual.
It's not common.
Yeah, it's not something you see every day. But believe it or not, a bunch of the run-bys that I have that I was thinking of sharing video run-bys are of special trains. I call them special because you don't see it every day. Or of special trains like this. I even have some with BNSF power on the front. So
yeah,
it's just whenever one of the Amtrak units takes a dump on the way out, and they have to replace it with something. So
Mhm.
Yep. So
Well,
they usually grab a local power like that.
And this issue affected our timeliness into Davis. And like, again, I want to talk about on-time performance, but it was expected, anticipated, and overall very good. Next, please. Okay, we're still on our. So here's Galesburg, Illinois. This is a shot as we're heading westbound. It was absolutely beautiful night, and this again is one of those. You just get enough time to step out. The car attendants are usually waiting at the door in the center of each car on the platform, so they're going to make sure you don't get too far away. And then Glenwood Springs, this was, you're all familiar with that. But what was interesting about this Glenwood Springs, Conductor Brad actually had to remove a passenger for non-compliance with the mask mandate. Another advantage of traveling Amtrak is if you fly and you get a knucklehead, on the flight for whatever reason. We've seen it all on the news. We've seen it on YouTube. You get a knucklehead, they've got to divert. And that's like, oh my God. On Amtrak, the next stop, buddy, you're getting off. It was the gentleman. I did actually see the gentleman that was removed from the train, and it was all civilized and all polite, but he was going to California, and he got as far as Glenwood Springs. So wear your mask properly. Respect the mask.
as someone who lives in California, I hope he didn't make it out here with that attitude.
He was probably from Indiana, so you wouldn't want him anyway.
All right. You ready? Next one? Okay.
Yes. Now here we go. This is a stock photo from Amtrak. I hope they don't mind the propaganda. But what I want to talk about now is the daytime roomette experience. So you can get up to 2 adults. I'm telling you, that's a stretch. If I were when I visit the Colorado Model Railroad Museum, my next trip out on Amtrak, I would do only one person in the roomette. You do have access to the private restrooms, private showers. There's one toilet upstairs, and that's where we were both routes. There are some rooms in the lower level, and I think there's 2 restrooms, and then that's where the shower is down there. The room length and width are small. I've heard the description. If you like RV camping, you'll love Amtrak.
I could see that because it's got to fit just like in a camper. Yeah.
So, first of all, I want to make sure I get my points here. So the room was comfortable. The temperature in the room was very good. If you look next to this young lady's head, there's the control for the temperature. There's also the reading lamp. Pardon me. And just below that circle knob, that's the 110 outlet. That's going to be
emphasize one, as in there's only one.
One, yes. We picked up a tip. Get an extension cord. We actually picked up an extension cord with the flat plug-in that had extra outlets for your phone and pad devices. That's another point. Westbound Amtrak does not have Wi-Fi, so you're on your own for entertainment. When we were
that's the Rocky Mountains, though, through most of it, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. So in these next, so we're still looking at the roomette here. So this is the opposite side. Again, you have a reading light. You have the call button for the attendant, and then there's the light control for the ceiling. We kept the door open, but the blinds pulled. So in the so what you see in the right-hand photo is the lower made up as a bed. You can see the sheet on top of the where you would be sleeping with the comforter on it. To the left of that, there's you can see there's some steps going up to the upper berth, and there's curtains. There are heavy curtains. They're Velcroed. Amtrak did a really good job in putting Velcro on the curtains and on the doors so you can seal everything up tight. But then again, we kept the door open when we were traveling during the day when we weren't napping. It was very convenient, and really not much traffic going through the car.
I'm glad you said those were steps. I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, those are, it's difficult to see here, and
I get it now. Okay.
If you do a search for Amtrak 360 view, you can actually do that. Look at everything in this room. Those steps are really good for putting a small carry-on, roll-on type bag on there. Like the first step, that looks like they've got a little bag for supplies and toiletries and some sort of, I don't know, maybe their phone sitting on that.
Okay.
It worked as a good shelf during the day. Next slide, please. So if we look at the left photo, you can see the upper berth is in the closed position, and this is really not a terribly great photo, but you can see where the air vents are coming through on the top. The vents do blow away from the upper berth, and that's where your control, there's a volume control for the airflow on the top there. There's also the reading light for the upper berth, if you can see that in the ceiling. You getting that there?
I do. Yep, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. And then there's now the other side, on the right side, starting at the far right, there's a silver latch, a narrow closet, which worked fine for putting in a sweater or a jacket. We did get creative and hanging our bags on hooks, things that we were going to be accessing. Brad asked, do you make your own bed or is there room service, like turn down with an Andes mince? Bring your own Andes, but great question, Brad. Room service is provided by the car attendant. They were absolutely super in checking with you when you wanted your bed made up, and within reason. This is not the cruise ship. It's not the five-star hotel downtown. They've got all of these folks that they have to service, and they were very accommodating to our needs, but they make up both the upper and the lower, and we're going to, Brad and everybody else, we'll get to the nighttime setup, what it looks like in a little bit.
Okay, you ready?
Yep. So just before, let me go back one more.
Like go back again?
Back one.
Okay.
Okay. So still talking to kind of wrap up on the roomette. So in addition to the car attendants bringing you pillows and extra blankets and making it up, they do provide washcloths and hand towels. There's a set in the closet, but there's plenty in the shower. And if you run out, they have extra. Anything you need, you just press the attendant button, and they'll come and check in with you and get what you need. A tip regarding, oh yes, and then the lower toilet has the extra face cloths and towers. The roomettes, we didn't realize this till the route out. They recline. So there's a silver bar. You would, much like in the airline, you reach down and pull that bar, and you can kind of lean back a little bit, not terribly much. So again, in that daytime position, you're both looking at each other.
Okay.
The shared toilets weren't a problem. Really try to plan your showers near station stops. one of the issues that we did deal with is rough track, and you could be in for quite a jostle if you're in that shower. So the safest thing is try to plan your stop, like Denver. If you're coming all the way through Chicago to California, Denver was a great stop to get your shower in. In the toilets, the shower area and the toilets, there is zero counter space. So the best thing to do is get a toilet bag that has a hook. Unfortunately, I didn't bring that. That's my big one that was in the bag packed away. I had just a little pouch, and there really wasn't any place other than the toilet lid. And so you were getting an extra towel to put on that. It's just kind of icky. You don't want to put your bag on that. But there were, on the walls, there were plenty of metal knobs to hang your either clothes and or your toilet bag. The last thing about the shower, Amtrak does provide body soap, but not shampoo. So bring your own shampoo and your own shampoo, your own soap if you want.
I'd like to go on behalf of the viewers and thank you for not including a picture of yourself taking a shower.
Well, that's the premium. This is the free one. So what you have to pay for that. Or
yeah, we have a joke about TSG Channel 3. That's where that would go.
No, that's.
You have a question here about meal tickets with your room. Do you see that? Do you get does meals come with the roomette? Well,
that's Robert. Yes, meals come, and meals. I have another section on that. The food was very good, and when you get a roomette, when you get a sleeping room, meals are included. 3 meals a day, and one of the neat things is that for evening you will get an adult beverage of your choice, so a beer, or wine, or a cocktail.
That was another question. Do you get a nightcap?
Yeah.
And I guess you do.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's another question from Brad. Yeah.
Yes. Do you get a nightcap? Yes, you can. Brad, you can get a Manhattan. They do have the hard stuff. And again, it's going to be those airline travel bottles. They're going to make you up a whiskey, a bourbon, vodka drink.
And you can usually purchase alcohol with your meals, I think.
Oh, yes.
If you want alcohol at any of the meals. One time I had a meal on Amtrak, and it's just kind of a funny story. There was an Amtrak couple an Amish couple across from us. And I guess they didn't have their kids, but he had like 8 beers during dinner, and I was just surprised.
Well, I've got a whole section on food and alcohol coming up. So yeah, I'll talk about what you can and you can't do. The last couple of things about the roomette. One of our friends on the June tour was our safety expert, Eric, and he would have been wearing his steel toe shoes, boots through this whole adventure. You don't need that. A matter of fact, my wife and I bought these kind of groovy new, is it a slipper? Is it a boot? Really lightweight. You don't need much to get around on the cars. I even use those for jumping off at the station stops. Put your hiking boots and your clodhoppers, put them in the check bag. Get something, moccasins, or literally slippers. You could wear the whole route, and it's really convenient also.
Okay.
The last thing on the roomette, we found that bringing our own lightweight blankets was nice. So you could, it wasn't cold, but it certainly was. At the time, you take your little nap, you got your own blanket. So we're going to move on from the roomettes and talk about luggage. Like I mentioned, Amtrak allows 2 bags per person, 50 pounds per traveler. 50 pounds per bag. So you can take 100 pounds of luggage, and I think, check the website, you might be able to take your computer bag or purse or another personal item. Again, like the airline, stow either up above or under your seat. One of the things that do not lose your claim ticket. They were very adamant that the station agents. I wound up photographing my claim tickets for my luggage just in case I lost them. I didn't need it, so
That's a good idea, though.
Yeah,
Photograph it.
I had that tip from the airport parking people. They had a lot of problems with when they pick you up, you lose your ticket and they don't know where, they got to go looking for you. So snap a picture of any of those travel documents they give you and you'll always have it handy. You won't lose it. Luggage tip. When we went westbound, we used a standard soft side carry-on bag on the smaller side. What was nice about that is that the compartment zipped open, and that's really important because on the way back we used a different bag that was one of these clamshell things, and you had to take it out and set it on the seat and open it, fold it open, kind of like the old American touristers. So you couldn't just reach in and get a pair of socks or a t-shirt, something to change.
Yeah, those hard side bags. I had one of those and I sold it because the same problem, traveling.
Yeah. So, it could be good if you're checking it, but definitely not in the room. I think that we would both recommend a plain old duffel bag, because you could even stuff that duffel bag on the floor, pardon me, between the two roomette seats.
Okay.
A bit about luggage security. I mentioned it earlier. You can put your bags on that rack in the first floor, but we had no problem. I felt very secure. The coach folks are separated by the observation car and the dining car. So the only people in our car by the time you get there are really going to be Amtrak staff and your fellow sleeper passengers. So if you're concerned, I guess you could always get one of those bicycle cable and actually chain it to the post. I would not think that would be unreasonable. But
it's not like they can grab your bag and jump off the train. I mean,
yeah, that's a possibility.
I always felt it was really safe. So I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna go on because we're kind of running short on time.
Okay,
so we got to move along.
All right. Well, I'll stick to the photos then.
Okay.
I love this. Here's a website pick, Pack Hacker, to get tiny packing. All you want is a carry-on size bag to get you from point A to B. Next, lightning round, right?
Yeah.
So, on-time performance. We arrived in Chicago 45 minutes early. I was really concerned about this because the Cardinal is only 3 times a week, and pardon me, and if we missed the train, we would have had to take Greyhound back to Indianapolis. Don't do what I did. I got really hung up on watching the schedules and seeing that there was actually one train that was delayed 13 hours. Don't do it. Expect that you're going to be delayed and deal with it. The good news is that we had absolutely no problems. Next slide. The meals are included with dining. You can see we have roses, linen tablecloth, linen napkins. This is dinner with the crab cake, the famous flat iron steak. Why in the world Amtrak gives you a carrot ball on a moving train, trying to chase that around, but it was delicious. Well prepared. The downside here, you get silverware at dinner, but this is all plastic. Next, please. Breakfast, yeah, breakfast is made to order omelets, sausage, potatoes, continental breakfast. You can see everything's there, very well prepared. And I think that the West Coast operation tried to outdo Chicago a little bit. And there were a couple things in the meal that were just a little bit bumped up. So go to the next slide. One night we decided that we had enough of sharing the table. That's a good point. You will be required to share a table with your travelers. So we ate in our room. You put your order in with your room attendant. Everything was included. We had the steak that night. We had the dessert, and we actually had the wine.
That's great. So you can do it in your room too.
Yeah. So we'll go to the next one.
Yep.
Observation car. So this is the observation lounge. I'm sure you folks had seen this before. The comfortable chairs. Amtrak could have done a better job washing the windows. I hated the mask mandate. I was happy in our room without the masks. So once you get in your own room, you can get that mask on. Anytime you're out of your room, you got to have your mask fully covered. Next. Question about alcohol. You can bring your own alcohol on the train, and we did. We found these beer can size wines. We did get ice from the dining car later in the trip, but these were at the bottom. We kept them in the bottom of the closet to not rattle around, and they stayed fairly cool. Another tip about this photo, we liked making a print off of the station stops. It kind of gave us a really good idea where we were in relation to our final destination, both east and west.
Yeah.
Okay, next. Okay, now we're going to get to the bad. This is not Amtrak track, but I'm telling you, there were, so in the daytime, there were times, and then you really had to use the 3-point rule. You had to have 2 feet on the ground and at least one holding on to something as you hit some rough track. And when you're clipping along, I don't know, 70, 80 miles an hour, it is something to be concerned about. The next one, the nighttime room. So this is the roomette made up for evening. What I would call the night terrors. I had significant problem getting to sleep in the upper berth. If you are at all don't like tight spaces, you should avoid the upper berth. Barbara slept in the lower, and she didn't have any problems. Although this is one of the biggest concerns, and I don't think there's anything that Amtrak can do about this now. But it was rough in the evening. It did wake you up quite often. We'll go to the next one. Hey, where are we at, Michelle?
We are in Pagosa Springs in this photo.
We're in Pagosa. Remember how that smelled?
Yeah. That would be a sulfur hot springs.
Well, on both trips in our sleeper car, there was an intermittent every 20 to 40 minutes raw sewage smell. We did tell our room attendant, and they passed it along. I'm not sure what's going on there, but in both east and westbound trips, and we checked with our fellow passenger, a terrible, terrible experience. This is something that I will write Amtrak about. So next one, please. Final recommendations. Next. You cannot beat the scenery. Like the old Amtrak, See America at Sea Level, I think it is something like that. You're going to see places that I've been, but the views were just spectacular. Traveling through the desert at night to realize how big this country is and how nobody lives there was absolutely amazing. Next slide, please. And again, here we are. And my contribution, the upper right, is the Amtrak moon. That is the moon, full moon rising over Iowa. A beautiful evening. That's if nothing else, you're going for the scenery. Next one, please.
You did have a G-rated Amtrak moon.
It was. The best part of Amtrak are the people. That's conductor Brad and assistant conductor in the dining car as we were heading out Denver that morning. My recommendation would be to do the Denver to San Francisco run. Beautiful, beautiful scenery, but to get a full appreciation of how beautiful the country is, absolutely get as much distance as you can and stay out of the upper bunk. And that's all I've got for you.
Nice.
Okay. That was awesome, Charles. I learned so much from this. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's My first attempt, and I hope it didn't go too long. But and afterwards, if anybody has questions and any additional information, I guess they could send them to John and Michelle, and I'd be happy to answer anything. You can contact me direct offline, or as we say, right?
Yeah, this was great. Thank you for sharing this with us and sharing your trip.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Nice presentation.
Awesome.
Cool.
And there were a lot of questions. We answered most of them, I think, going through. I'm gonna unshare here. I have a video to share.
Oh, cool.
Let me go get it ready here. Okay, so when you travel coach, which I always do, I've never had a roomette. Like everything is awesome when you can be in the observation car. So I kind of move in. So here's my video. If you can share it.
Yeah. Let me see.
Oh, it's telling me it doesn't support my video. Oh, never mind. I can't share it. I wish I had it as a photo. I moved in. I had Doritos, soda, pretzels, like the whole little window tray of Michelle's space was full.
Right on.
Anyway, it won't let me share it. So
yeah, I just realized I was sending a text message to you, Michelle, and I meant to send it to Sparky to get ready to make his announcement. So I want to thank you, Charles. If you want, you can hang around in our backstage area, and if there are any, burning questions that.
For anybody else who gets invited from John and Michelle, the backstage is amazing. They do their snacks back here. Well, those are my
only the best snacks. Only the best snacks.
Yeah.
Lots of alcohol too for whoever.
Well, this is the office. This is my office. So thank you all again. Signing off. Merry Christmas, best of the new year. Stay healthy and safe. And thank you so much. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Charles.
And hopefully I've got some ideas for another one for you. So
sweet.
You're welcome back anytime.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
Thank you. Cool. All right.
That was great.
Yeah, I want to bring in Sparky real quick. He has some more information about the Christmas show that he's doing in 10 days from now. So let me bring him up.
Yep, we want to talk about this. And then we have John Chris. Oh my goodness.
It's a ho time, that's for sure. And only 10 days left to go. Jeez.
Yeah. So
I think we're talking to a gnome. Isn't that a gnome?
Yeah, I got my little nose going up there somewhere. I don't know. It's up there somewhere.
Oh, you look better with the hat on.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. So couldn't find my one that had the beard on it that you couldn't see my face at all. So
all right. So tell us about Christmas. What are we doing on Christmas?
Well, we are going to hang out here. Oh, look at this. Gee,
I made a special slide just for this.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, December 25th, 4 p.m. Eastern. I'll start her up and I'll have the link in the chat. So everybody can come up and share experience for Christmas, talk about the past year to go. I guess the big thing a lot of people are going to look forward to, there's a whole table right beside me that's full of gifts. I got more coming. I did do a promotion with Lauren, and any of the gift certificates people were buying me at OVR Trains for a week, he matched. And we managed to get, I think it was $600. So he's going to match that. So I'm going to be able to spend $1,200 on the 18th. Go there and buy more gifts and stuff like that. So that's going to be really cool. But basically what it is going to be a place for everybody to come and hang out. Like, you want to get away from the family for a little while, or you just want to come and hang out with some of your train family and the community, or if you don't have anybody at home basically to hang out with, well, 4 p.m. Eastern, come on up and hang out.
All of us.
So yeah.
I got to say, this is one of the live streams that I really look forward to every year. I like giving away videos and I like hanging out with the community. So,
well, the first year I did it, it was, I didn't do anything the first year. Like, I had family tragedy hit my life, and it was a Christmas that I would not want to repeat, and I wouldn't want anybody else to have it. To be alone at Christmas is just a horrible feeling. I'll give it that much. So the following year I did a live stream and it turned out really good. And this is my third time doing it on Christmas Day. And I feel great doing it. Like I said, it's a place to hang out and everything else. So if That's the whole story behind
How
why I
long
do
does
it.
it go? Just until you're done? A couple hours, or is there
How
like
long can you talk?
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
because I live 2 hours earlier, and sometimes we do lunch, and sometimes we're not done at 2, so I might be a little late.
Yeah, well, like I said, I got a
Oh.
whole table full of goodies and stuff here. I got more coming.
Yeah,
I'm thinking
it'll
it's at
still
least
be
gonna go
going.
4 hours.
Okay, then I'll
It'll
be
still
fine.
be
I'll
going,
join
Michelle.
in.
It
So,
usually goes for quite a while. I mean,
Okay.
just giving away all the stuff that Dave gives away takes a long time. So
okay.
yeah, but I like it
That's
because
awesome.
it's one of those things again that I think, Dave, you're one of the best people at building the online community, that you're a real asset to the community. If you know what I mean. I'm trying to say something nice.
I think it's the
gotta say
purple
something
hair. We're
mean
just
now.
all drawn to that purple wig in the picture there. He looks like fun.
Well,
But seriously, Dave, thank you. This is a great thing to do.
oh,
There you go.
there he
For
is.
there it is.
Just so I can match it. So
Yeah, does that guy look familiar?
yeah, there you go.
There it is.
I'd have to get a brush out for this one though. So
Yeah.
but
So
no,
anyway.
it should go for at least a good 4 hours. Like I said, I'm not in a rush when I do it. I do put the link up in the chat so people can come up and talk and just share whatever they want to share. So, and I know there's a few other people that want to come on and give things away also. So you don't have to actually send it to me to give it away. You can, I think Michelle was mentioning that she was going to come on and
I'll have some tank cars to give away.
so she'll hold her own type of contest, or
But
maybe
I'll
she'll do
mail
a
them, and that way
Sparky
you
10.
don't have to deal with mailing them. So
And that's a big help for me too. Usually it costs me anywhere from $20 to $30 to mail everything,
yeah.
like each thing. So
I was gonna say it costs. That's like the letters, maybe.
Yeah.
It's
And then-
expensive to mail things. So
yeah, and there's lots, like TSG's helping out. Michelle, you're helping out. I got Mini Prince is helping out. He's given a $50 gift certificate that's supposed to show up at my place within the next week. There's other YouTubers that are sending me things, so it's going to be a great time. Lots of stuff to give away, and like I said, it's a place to hang out and just socialize.
Yep.
You're just not doing anything, so
Very cool. And to be clear, everybody watching, this is on Sparky107107's channel, not this channel, his channel. So it'll be fun. We always
It'll
have
be
fun
really
doing
fun.
it.
yeah, I always have fun. Like
I probably won't be there the whole time.
Will you put up the
but I'll
placeholder
definitely-
fairly soon, or is your placeholder video is it there yet?
no, it won't be there, and I normally don't do a placeholder video for it. I'll just do a
Okay.
reminder video coming up.
Well, what do you call it, where I can go and share that out? You have like the
Yeah.
picture there, and like it's coming. What do you call that?
Yeah.
Well,
If you want, Dave, you can go to StreamYard and set up a broadcast for the
Yep.
future. I don't know if you've done that, but I do that with all these streams.
Right.
So
That way I have something to share out ahead of time, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
and all you do for that is start the stream in StreamYards, and it starts it for you. You just don't hit go live, and YouTube picks it up. So
Oh, okay.
that's how
Very
that goes.
cool.
But
Right
yeah,
on.
normally that's all I do is a video about a week beforehand, and then people can share the video. Or another thing, like if people want to do videos and mention this or like promote it or whatever you want to call it, I guess get people to come do a little video on your channels and tell everybody to come to mine on Christmas Day at 4 p.m. Eastern. So
Yeah, I'm going to share it on my Facebook. So that's why I was asking for a link to put with that.
there's the perfect picture right there to post up. So
Yep,
yeah,
right.
I can send this to you, Michelle, if you want this.
Yeah, you'll have to
thumbnail
send
I
that to
made.
me, and then I'll share that out.
well, you're going to throw that in your community posts, aren't you, John?
I did. I put it
Did
up
you?
today.
Oh, did you?
I think I might have even done a tweet and a Facebook post. So
Oh, there you go. So
yeah, cool.
yeah,
All
so
right.
that's the gist of it. So
All right. Well,
it
thank
should
you.
be a good
Dave.
time. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, this is my third time doing it, third year in a row doing it, and
Right
I think
on.
it's wonderful.
hope to see
All
everybody
right.
there. That's all I got. So
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Dave. Get back to work.
All
We'll
right.
see you next time.
yeah,
All right.
no kidding.
We'll see you in a bit.
All right,
All right.
bye guys.
Take it easy. All right.
So-
well,
With
Yeah,
their
I was
Amtrak
gonna-
theme, go ahead, John.
I was going to say, I wanted to share this run by because I don't think I'm going to get to share any of the videos I prepared for this unless I just do it.
Yeah, share
So-
your run by.
Let's get back to Amtrak. And in order to do that, let me give you this little segue. This is a shot that I took at a place called Cougar, which is in extreme northern California. And you can see Mount Shasta in the background. Check it out. This is the Coast Starlight running through Cougar in 2016. I think it's running.
Oh, I hear it,
It
but I
seems
don't
like it's
see
paused,
it.
doesn't it?
Yeah, I hear it though. I hear a train coming. I just can't see one.
Hey,
All sorts of technical stuff today.
what happened? Can you hear me, Michelle?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, the page just stopped working
Can you
altogether.
hear us? Oh, that's not good. It's just me. Oh no. John's gone. And I can't share anything because he has control of everything. So he'll have to come back and you guys just have to talk to me. So, so anyway, the second half of this show is supposed to be about Amtrak. And there's John.
That was a very interesting experience. I'm over here
Yeah.
waiting for the sound and everything to start going.
I'm sitting here going, these poor people are just looking at me. I feel so bad for them.
Should I try it again? I mean, I don't know what happened.
I don't know. Did it boot you out?
The page became unresponsive is what it said.
Oh,
So
I don't know. You can try it again, I guess.
Let's
You
try it
came
again.
back. Hopefully you can come back again.
Yeah, if it doesn't work this time, I'll just give it up and we'll bring John on.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh, it's moving. I think we're going to do it.
I think it's working.
I think it's going to roll. So we're looking at Mount Shasta?
Yeah, that's Shasta behind the track there. And I think John will appreciate this shot. We'll have to bring him on and see if he gives it a thumbs up or a thumbs down afterwards. One of the great things about this shot is that the starlight was running late that morning. And so it was perfect light. So anyway, that was one video that I wanted to share. Why don't you do a little intro for John here, Michelle? And
that's a perfect segue. Yes. So, so the first thing I wanted to do with Charles is what is it like to travel on Amtrak? And then, of course, because it's me, we have to do rail fanning. So I've invited one of my very favorite photographers who goes out and photographs Amtrak all the time, John Crisanti. And John did our calendar at the museum for 2021. His amazing photos. He doesn't just photograph Amtrak. He does Union Pacific, BNSF, everything in our region. And he's like me. He goes up to the Powder River. He's the one who actually taught me what that's all about. And he goes all over. And today I think he's going to talk about Colorado and about the Southwest Chief Amtrak too, and photographing it. So I just thought it would be awesome to have John come on and share his amazing photography with us. So where's John?
Yeah, let's bring him on. And John, I want to welcome you, but I also want to thank you before we get started in earnest for all the hot tips you gave Michelle for when we were out chasing trains with her, because that was really great.
Anybody notice where John is?
It looks like you're left familiar. The office, Michelle.
It is because he's been volunteering his time today doing videographies for one of our future videos. So he actually had to call in from my office while I'm at home.
Yeah.
So somebody's wondering, that's why.
Yep.
Very cool. Well, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me, John and Michelle.
Yeah, glad to have you on here. Let's look at some of your photography. I know you have some pictures ready.
Yeah, should I bring this up, John? I see.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay.
So, I mean, for the most part, I really haven't photographed Amtrak a whole lot as much as I do the regular freight carriers. But over the years, I have photographed the California Zephyr here, since that's local to us, but also our other long distance train, the Southwest Chief, in the southern part of the state, and also northern New Mexico. So in this photo, this is the eastbound California Zephyr, just about 15 miles northeast of Denver on the BNSF brush sub, and this is going by Bar Lake State Park, excuse me, with one of the heritage units that Amtrak has. This is the phase 4 variation going by the pond there on the western side of the state park.
It's
Doing
184, isn't it?
every bit of 79 miles an hour,
Yeah, that's
heading
so
towards
pretty.
Chicago.
I love the
Next slide.
reflection shot.
Yeah. Next slide.
Oh, I didn't even realize this is a slideshow. Very cool.
Yep. So, and after doing the stop, this is the westbound number 5 California Zephyr. So after doing the stop in Denver, the Zephyr goes through the western suburbs after going through UP's North Yard. So this is on the western outskirts of the suburb of Arvada, coming out of the railroad location called Leiden. So this is where trains start climbing the 2.0% grade up towards the Moffett Tunnel. And this is along Highway 72, just west of Leiden.
Very cool.
That's cool. You can see downtown Denver.
Yep, you can see
and
downtown Denver in the background,
Yeah.
and most of
That's
Arvada,
cool.
Wheat Ridge, and
yeah, and Jeff
Yeah.
is saying Big Ten Curve area. Almost there. Almost
It
up
looks-
we're
to
almost
Rocky.
Yeah,
there.
it looks very close to the zoomed up shot of downtown Denver I got when we were up on Brad's backyard.
Yep. All right, next slide.
All right, let's do that.
So this is actually looking from Conductor Brad's backyard, right above the Big Ten curve, and you can act on it. This is a much clearer day than the previous one, and you could actually see downtown Denver, but all of the surrounding Denver metro area, including Golden, Table Mountain. And this is the eastbound number 6 coming down Big Ten curve, going into the railroad siding of Rocky.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so Big Ten Curve is a 10-degree curve, correct?
That is correct. So when they were building the Moffett, when they were building the Moffett route, the engineers were trying to figure out how to gain elevation in such a to get from Rocky all the way up to Plainview. So rather avoiding a 4% grade, they came up with the idea of doing a series of 10-degree loops, which kept the grade at a constant 2%. So that way trains didn't have to deal with the steep grade and all that. But even though it's a short amount of distance in a straight line, it's actually at least doubled that.
Oh yeah, it's a whole lot of
Of all the
rail.
curvature, yeah.
And something in this photo, if people look at the curve behind Amtrak up there's a row of trees. There's also a bunch of hopper cars there to block wind, because I don't think they expected the wind that they get there when they built that line.
Yeah,
So-
the Rio Grande back, I believe, in the early 70s, maybe the late 60s, one of their trains blew off that mountain. So the Rio Grande planted trees and put down old freight cars and welded them to tracks, so that way they would be treated as a windbreak, so trains don't blow off the mountain.
yeah, it's really windy there. Great shot. Love it.
Yeah,
You can
thank
see
you.
Denver upper left and Golden upper right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right, thank you. So this is further up. This is in Coal Creek Canyon. So this is right by the Blue Mountain Road crossing and the fire station there. This is right at the bottom of the tunnel district. So right above the lead locomotive, where the rocks are at, that's actually where tunnel number 1 is. And that's the start of the tunnel district, which consists of 30 tunnels between there and the Moffett Tunnel.
Very cool. I have a video of this spot that I'll show later on.
Yeah.
It's such a cool spot.
It's one of my favorite places to go. Great shot. Love it.
Thank you.
Do we advance?
Great. Next one.
Yep, next slide.
All right.
So this is one of the extreme rare opportunities where Amtrak is at least 12 plus hours late. So this was due to rock slides in Utah the night before. So I took the opportunity the next morning to photograph a 15-hour late train 6 in the morning light, because normally this shot, depending on the time of the year, would be at dusk, or
be
it would
dark.
be completely backlit
Yeah.
or dark. So getting the shot in perfect morning light is an extreme rare opportunity.
Did you have to hike pretty far to get to this shot?
No, because this is located at Crescent. It's the next
Okay.
passing siding west of Plain. So you
Okay.
just take Gross Dam Road to the grade crossing, and there's a big shoulder right next to the crossing you can park at, and it's maybe a 1-minute walk from the crossing, if
Oh,
that's
so
that.
I could go here. I like that. Okay.
Yeah, you
I haven't
could
done this
actually,
one yet.
yeah, you can see this, almost see the shot from the crossing itself. So that's really,
Okay.
really
That's one of
easy.
the things I really like about Amtrak running late is that sometimes, because they do run late somewhat often, at least the Coast Starlight does. We call it the Coast Starlight because it's late quite often. And
Right.
you can get shots in light and in places that you just can't get it when they run late. So running late's not always a bad thing.
So this is further west up the hill. This is between Rollinsville and Toland. This is along South Boulder Creek, coming out of the small canyon there. And this is the westbound number 5 racing up the hill about 45 miles an hour towards the Moffett Tunnel in fresh snow that fell the night before.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, hang on a second. I'm trying to bring up comments as well as advancing. Oh, wow.
The fall.
So this is actually in Toland. This is not too far off from the previous shot. This is in the valley, like the valley before the Moffett Tunnel. So this is right up a Jeep trail. So you really don't need to hike this. You just need to have a proper 4-wheel drive vehicle with adequate clearance, and you could just drive to this spot and get a shot through the aspens there. And it's a great spot, especially in the fall when we're at peak. So this is number 5 with the phase 4 heritage unit leading.
I have a
crossing.
photo nerd picture question, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing post processing to make it more vibrant, or did it really come out like that?
I mean, for the most part, it is pretty vibrant, but I do just basic post processing, such as sharpening, cropping, maybe a little enhancement on the color. But for the most part, it was like this in person.
I've
That's
seen it like
amazing.
that out there, and it is beautiful. I know how to get here to this one. So,
Oh, cool.
except not up the hill. You had to climb the hill, didn't you? I
Oh.
love this shot. I've always
This
loved
is
this one.
familiar.
So
Thumbnail.
So this shot right here, yeah, it looks like it was taken in the midst of fall or maybe winter, but this photo was actually taken in mid-June.
Mid-June.
Yes.
You must have
This
been
was,
way
I
up
believe,
somewhere.
this was taken, I believe, June 8th or June 9th. So the night before, Winter Park and the general area up there received fresh snow, but by then the trees were already had green leaves. So it created a clash of seasons right there in Winter Park, with the pine trees all snow covered, but also the green aspen trees that are all covered in snow. So it made for an interesting contrast, per se.
I remember the day you took this shot and you posted it, and I was like, oh my God, the green. Wow. That's so amazing.
So that's the same train from the previous shot. This is them doing their station stop at Fraser Winter Park.
Yeah,
cool.
and this is where Charles was saying you get to get off the train. They do like a 15-minute stop here, so you can pop off and get some fresh air and get back on.
Yeah, right on.
So then this is the very next stop after Fraser. This is the eastbound number 6 coming into Granby. This was also during a period of fall color. And it so happens that the lead locomotive is the same number as the train number as well, too.
Oh, it's 6.
Right.
Huh.
What are the chances of that?
Yeah, really.
So going back to the snow shots at Winter Park and Fraser, where it's completely all snow covered. This is just west of Granby of that same train. So it completely went from looking all wintry, cold and such to high summer sun in a matter of, I want to say, maybe 10 miles.
Well, it is Colorado.
Right.
Yeah,
So we have 4 seasons every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is in Byers Canyon. This is west of Hot Sulphur Springs, right along the Colorado River and along US Highway 40. And the great thing about Byers Canyon is the highway parallels the track through the entire canyon. You can see the shoulder off to the right of the highway, and there's a lot of pull-offs too, which provide a lot of opportunity to get photos and videos of trains going through the canyon. And because of the tight curvature in the canyon, trains are restricted to a slow speed, so it gives anyone the opportunity chasing to get multiple shots of the same train inside the canyon.
Right on.
That's beautiful.
So this is on another trip. This is further west along the Moffat route. This is near the railroad location of Yarmany. This is where this is a popular area for rafters that go rafting along the Colorado River, and this is westbound number 5, just east of the siding of Yarmany.
I have photos later to show of what it's like being on the train through this area.
So this is that part, Michelle?
Yeah, I'll show them after.
So this is the next siding over called Bond, and this is the eastbound number 6, and this was in the midst of June summers. So you get your usual thunderstorms in the air in the mountains just a little bit after noon. So this is perfect timing with a storm developing in the background as number 6 comes in the Bond.
Yeah, dramatic skies always really make a shot, don't they?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Clouds.
And then this is the next station stop west of Granby. This is the Glenwood Springs Depot. And this is number 5 coming in to do their station stop.
That's
Very
such
cool.
a pretty depot. I like being there.
And where did you say it was again, John? I missed that part.
This is Glenwood Springs.
Glenwood Springs. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So sometimes
I know where this is.
Yep. Sometimes things happen and Amtrak is required to reroute over the Union Pacific from Denver to Salt Lake City through Greeley and across Wyoming. So there were a couple of times where I got the opportunity to photograph some of those detours. And this is photographed basically right next to the Colorado Model Railroad Museum. This is going by the old UP depot, which is the Chamber of Commerce in Greeley. This is train number 6.
Yeah,
Jordan, the rail fanner's watching tonight. He comes in photographs here all the time.
Right, that's Jordan here.
Yeah,
he's commenting because he knows exactly.
he knows
where
exactly
that
where this is.
Yeah, there's something else that happens sometimes, maybe once or twice a year, maybe not even that commonly, where the Coast Starlight gets rerouted over to Hatchapee Pass.
Yeah, I've seen coverage of that, and then
Yeah.
So, and then this is another case of reroutes. This was due to I believe the wildfires or mudslide. I think this was wildfires and mudslides in Glenwood Canyon. So this was pretty recent. This is number 5 after crossing into Wyoming. This is just near Spear, just south of Cheyenne.
It's so funny because this actual location is almost always Union Pacific Steam in photos.
Oh yeah, I've seen 4014 here.
Yeah. This is like, and in fact, it's probably John's shot, like the famous one it was on like the UP calendar, wasn't it, John? Your photo here in the snow, or was it the other? Your photos are everywhere, but you've taken a great one here.
I've shot Big Boy in 844 there before.
Yeah.
So.
I think I saw your shot here, John. As a matter of fact, come to think of it, I don't don't remember for sure, but I'd be surprised if it wasn't, because it would have been something I saw that Michelle shared, which most likely would have been your shot.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So changing gears, so we're gonna switch down to the other long distance train that travels through Colorado, and it's the Southwest Chief that runs from Chicago to Los Angeles. So because of how far it is, I really I don't go down there too often, but because of the route that it travels over, it provides a lot of interesting history with both the Santa Fe and the Santa Fe Trail. So this is what just railroad west of La Junta along the Raton line. This is out in the middle of nowhere along US Highway 350. This is the siding called Delhi, and this was home to the only operating wigwag crossing in the United States on a Class 1 railroad, and then recently it got retired, and BNSF donated it to the Colorado Railroad Museum in Golden.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I see Dave Hammer going, we have one of those. Dave, you guys got the other wigwag, or the other, not a wigwag, semaphore. He's from the Illinois Railroad Museum.
So this is further west. This is west of their next station stop after La Junta. This is Trinidad, or west of Trinidad. This is the location Jansen. This is where the coal branch line branched off here, and it went to a coal mine west of Jansen, which recently opened actually, and is served presently by the UP due to them maintaining trackage rights that came from the Denver and Rio Grande at the time, because back in the day, both the Santa Fe, the Burlington Northern, and the Rio Grande both had trackage rights from Trinidad down to this spot just to load their coal trains, and they went back into Trinidad to their respective lines. So, and with the Raton sub, a lot of the Santa Fe relics are still in operation, so you'll still see a lot of Santa Fe signals still in use. You might get lucky and still see some original Santa Fe speed limit signs still up, but for the most part, everything on this line is still original to what it was during the Santa Fe era before the BNSF merger.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Someone's asking if you've ever showed your photography at Winter Rail.
I have not, but I would definitely would love to at some point, given the opportunity and, of course, the time to do so.
Oh, yeah, we know the people who run Winter Rail. Maybe we can talk about that sometime, because it would be a great presentation.
So, and then this is on the other side of Raton Pass. This is on the New Mexico side. This is along Interstate 25 between Raton and Las Vegas. This is near the former Santa Fe siding of Schaumburg. And this is us coming back from our trip from Arizona, and we timed it to where we can chase Amtrak 4 basically back up towards Colorado. And this is pacing alongside Amtrak 4, doing every bit of 79 miles an hour on this section that is still jointed rail. So that's another thing about the Raton line, is there are still sections that have jointed rail still, so you still get to hear, and of course if you're riding on the train, you still get to feel and hear what it's like to have a high-speed train going over jointed rail like it used to be.
I'm surprised they
Which
run.
rail fans love, but I'm not sure about the public.
Right, yeah.
Remember, Charles? It was really bumpy.
So this is my good buddy of mine, Tyler. He was the one that was behind the wheel that gave us the opportunity to get photos and a lot of pace video of pacing alongside Amtrak just west of Raton. And this is near the passing sighting of Hebron, which is just literally one siding west of Raton.
John, this is just a great art shot. Just saying. It's a good
Thank you.
human shot with the train shot. It's good.
There's something about having a person in the picture like that,
Yeah.
you know, where the train's not the focus. I mean, you can tell it's a train picture, but it's kind of like, yeah.
John took my favorite picture of 2020, and it's like this, and I'm in it. I don't know if it's probably not in this presentation, but I'll have to share it because I love it. Oh, look at this.
So with the Raton line, up until 2009, 2010, there were still some freight traffic left, revenue freight traffic left on the that route, but after that, it was strictly only just Amtrak Southwest Chief, twice a day. But within the past few years, BNSF has operated numerous work trains, which provided a lot of opportunity to photograph something that's not Amtrak down there. So they did a lot of replacement recently with ballast, brand new ties, rail, and some of the old semaphore signals got replaced too. So that way everything can be still up to date for Amtrak standards. And this is in the small town of Springer. This is Amtrak 3 passing by a parked work train filled with ties in the siding. I'm guessing, I don't know if that's an old railroad building or not, but this.
I was about to ask, is that like an old station with its windows broken out? And
yeah, I'm not too sure what the story is on that building, if it's Santa Fe related or not.
I have to compliment you on your very strategic placement of the watermark. Good job.
Oh, well, thank you. So this is a few miles south or railroad west of Springer. This is the very first, was the very first semaphore set. Like recently, within the past month or so, these actually got replaced since one of the mechanisms stopped working. So BNSF completely tore these down and
were those the last ones? Were they the last ones up?
No, there's still there's quite several left.
Okay.
So, but yeah, this is pretty much like the go-to shot when you're chasing the chief, because it's easy to get to. You just get off the interstate either at Springer or the Colmore exit and drive maybe about 3/4 of a mile to maybe a mile east from the interstate, and you just get on frontage road and you can just drive up to the signals there. So this was when BNSF was starting to replace more of these semaphore signals. This is just believe this is around Colmore, so this is between the signals from the previous shot and Wagon Mound. So this was the very last train to pass through those semaphore signals, as the next day the semaphores were taken down and the brand new signals that are covered up next to them went into service.
And these, I think, it was one of these or another set that went to the Illinois Railroad Museum.
Yeah, I think one of these went to the Illinois Railroad Museum, and I think another set went down to some museum in Texas.
Yeah. So they did send them off to be preserved, which was really wonderful of
BNSF
to do that.
I think what BNSF did was once they took the semaphores out of service, they got sent to some signal department at a location somewhere on their system and got refurbished or like touched up, and before they got sent off to their new homes.
That's nice.
That's a
good of them.
cool thing. My understanding too, and I don't know if either one of you knows about this, but is that they take them out of service not because necessarily that they don't want them, but once they stop working, either they don't want to fix it or they're required to have what's considered modern signaling up.
I think it's more or less just having the parts readily available.
Yeah, these would be harder to
um,
fix the old ones, I would
just because
think.
these signals are over 100 years old, and I mean, yeah, they like past ones that have been replaced. I think they do keep some parts available, but for the most part, is if something goes wrong and it's not repairable, they'll just remove them and put in modern tricolor signals.
Yeah, we have a train order board at the museum in Santa Clara where I volunteer, and they had a hell of a time trying to find or build relays so that it would continue to work. So anyway.
Yes. So this is further west from Colmore. This is the eastern, or this is the west end of the siding at Levi. So in this section between Springer and Las Vegas, there's a mixture of both semaphores and modern signals. So this siding in particular, the western part of the siding is controlled by semaphores, while the eastern end of the siding is completely controlled by modern tricolor signals. So there's a lot of mixture in there. So, and then this is the next set down from the previous shot. This is the another great go-to shot because you get the famous wagon mound formation in the background, and this is train number 4 coming up to the intermediate signals there, and Interstate 25 is right there on the right side. And then this is the second to last set, just west of Las Vegas. This is Bernal. Right, this is right out of Great Crossing, easy to access to.
And this is Las Vegas, New Mexico, not
west of this is what, yeah, not
just
not
for people
Nevada.
that don't know this area.
So, and now we're out of semaphore territory, so we're actually on Glorietta Pass, which is another steep pass the railroad has to go over, and this is going by the Santa Fe Depot in Glorietta. That is also now a post office. And then this is the small town of Rowe. This is if you want to get into technical terms, this is where trains go from using track warrants, ABS, automatic block signaling, to back to centralized CTC traffic control. So this is where now the dispatcher can control all the signals themselves.
Okay.
And then this is just the west end of Rowe, looking because the geography down there, the track layout is interesting because we're actually looking north here, but that train's actually going eastbound. So
yeah, it's
so in the depending on, assuming train 4 is on time, you'll actually get a perfectly perfect lit shot at Rowe of an eastbound train sometime, and this is in the afternoon too. So of an eastbound train.
I like how you framed the old telegraph wires on the left there. It's a very cool shot.
Yeah.
And then this is in Arizona. This is on the western side of Winslow. One of the Southwest Chiefs stops, and one of their heritage units, the Phase 2 heritage unit, was on the train trailing, and that's Interstate 40 right there going towards Flagstaff, and you can kind of see the San Francisco peaks covered in the clouds back there over by Flagstaff.
Yeah, so we're looking towards the west in that photo.
That's the eastbound.
I'm trying to advance the slides because I want to see more, but that looks like it's the last one.
Yep, it's the last one.
That's awesome.
Those are
Yeah,
great
thanks.
shots, John.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing.
And I feel like John has been the preservationist of that whole line, that whole Raton section and all of its semaphores, because you've documented what's there. And I learned from your photographs. I didn't know any of that was there till you started posting about it on Facebook. So
We have a bonus shot off my calendar of Amtrak.
Yep, that is the only time where I've actually seen a solid set of phase 3 locomotives together, and also the baggage car is also painted in phase 3.
Yeah.
that's going
I
into
think-
Tunnel 1.
Yep, that I'm standing right
I knew
above
it.
tunnel number 1, so you got it, Michelle.
So, John, are you selling a current calendar for 2022 at all?
Not at the moment, but I can probably come up with something here pretty soon. And
Can people buy
Try
prints
and
off
get
your website at all, or how do people get your photography?
I mean, they can contact me personally, and I can come up with something and work something out if anyone requests it.
Just John's day job is not photography. He has a day job, but so I'm giving him a hard time about not having all of his business stuff going there. But but your
Well-
photography is really good.
Thank you.
Also, the website's being shared in the chat as well, John's website. And I've poked around the website, and just the photography is stunning. I'm always so impressed.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we had a chance to electronically meet at least.
Yep. Well, thank you, John. That was awesome.
Of course, thank you.
Right
I
on.
don't see where are we at? We're at 6:45. I don't know if we have callers or anybody has questions for John.
Yeah, if you want to hang around for a couple minutes, John, we'll see if any questions pop up in the chat.
Yeah, that's fine.
There's been a lot of really complimentary comments that I've been trying to highlight as we go. But yeah, this is great.
I want to share my funny stuff, my pictures. So, John had a lot of pictures of the Moffett line going over Moffett Road and stuff. And when you ride Amtrak on that, and remember I said on the river area, there's a place where there's just rafters and fishermen and just a really heavily used part of the river there. And there's this phenomenon in Colorado that I thought I would share. But I don't know if you
Did
can
I-
share. Do you see
Yeah,
that?
I think I see it. Is it this
Okay,
one?
let's see if we can make this work. Yeah, okay. So this is what you see as you're approaching and going down that area of the river. It's just a beautiful place for scenery. And I don't know if that's why Colorado people do this kind of thing, but you can just see how beautiful it is. But as you get closer, this is called the Amtrak moon.
It looks like
And you will get this moon all up and down this river. And they cheer and they laugh and they jump up and down and they show you the moon.
it's a full moon in broad daylight.
And I've seen people standing up in kayaks doing it. I've seen them on rafts. The only ones that won't do it are the people who are on a guided raft trip, because I think their guide they must tell them you cannot do it.
Well, what fun is that?
I know, because the ones all in the matching jackets and little suits, yeah, on the paid guided trips, they don't get to do it. But anybody else, this is what you see. I've actually had this happen on the Royal Gorge train. So it's just a Colorado phenomenon, I guess. So there you go.
Well, I have to admit, if I do that with something that people commonly do and I were out there, I might consider it.
I probably will never do this. I can pretty much guarantee this is not going to happen in my life.
They wouldn't know it was you, Michelle.
And it truly doesn't matter, men, women, they all do it together. Like, it's just like a family thing. That's the Amtrak moon.
Well, this is one show that I can say I wasn't the only ass on the screen.
True. So anyway, Amtrak, since this whole show's about Amtrak, there's that whole experience. I mean, photographing it, chasing it is fun. It's beautiful in photos. As John has shown us, you can take a fabulous photo with Amtrak. You can have fun riding it. I guess we don't want to sleep in the top bunk unless we're really small people or something. Great tips on like the shower stuff. And I'm excited. I want to actually do a roomette and just experience it myself. I thought that was it looks fun. I've only ever done coach seats, and I think my longest trip was 9 hours. So I've never had that long time on there.
I can tell you from experience, I rode coach from Emeryville, which is the furthest point west that you can go on the Zephyr, all the way to Salt Lake City. And I was ready for something different by the time we left Reno, which was, maybe 6 hours later. I don't remember the exact number of hours, but coach is not the way to go if you're going to take a long distance trip, unless there was
to get the room.
Right. Well, or there was somebody sitting across the aisle from us, right behind some kind of a bulkhead, who had set up what looked like a tent, and he was taking up all the seats in that little area, which actually kind of irked me, because I was like, well, now why is this person getting to be comfortable while everybody else has to sit on the seats for, whatever amount of time? So, but the people on the train weren't saying or doing anything about it, so I figured it must have been something that they're okay with.
I will tell you, coach seats are super comfortable. I've taken a few naps in coach before, because the seats really are comfortable, and the rocking of the train just puts me right to sleep.
Yeah,
So-
they're definitely comfortable to a point, but I would not recommend going in coach for anything
for a
overnight.
long trip. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we got to our destination, Salt Lake City, somewhere around 3 a.m., and we left in the morning, the prior morning, about, I think, 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And
So
it
that's a
it got
long trip.
uncomfortable, and unfortunately, I was right over a flat wheel as well, so there was a the whole time, which was starting to make me crazy. So, anyway, thank you very much, John. That
Yeah,
was,
of course. Thank you.
Great. I'm not seeing a lot of questions coming up, so now you're welcome if you want to hang out with us until we're finished, all the way finished, in case a question does come up.
Yeah, or unless you have to get back to filming. I know you guys are filming.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
Okay.
get back to filming. So
someday you guys are going to see this awesome DVD from the Colorado Model Railroad Museum that was filmed by John Crisanti and Kirk Orndorff. So yeah,
Cool.
they had some cool trains out today. Modern freight on the OCNE. So
I look forward to seeing that.
And for those of you that don't know, John's an amazing modeler. He does great weathering, custom work. He's just got all the talents. So so thanks, John, for coming.
yeah, thanks, Michelle. Thanks, John.
Thank John. You take care now. Have a good holiday.
Thanks, everyone. You too.
Cool. Well, we have some time. I do want to bring on some callers, but I want to share some more of the videos that I
I wanted you to share the Blue Mountain one that we did, that I was with you. I love that video that you took there. It's so pretty.
Let's take a look at the entrance to Blue Mountain. And I'll scoot this ahead a little bit because it takes a minute for the train to show up. Here we go.
And this was sunset golden hour. So you'll see that reflection high. And we are looking west here. So that sun's a little behind, but you can see the reflection on the train. It's just really pretty that day.
This may have been the best shot of that day. And if I remember right, this might be my phone shot. But what's cool about this also is you can see in the background, just to the right of where the locomotives are, that the train comes down that's a track right back there. Comes down that hill and then snakes around past the grade crossing.
The valley and comes back up through this. And then after it passes here, it goes right into the Big Ten curve. For those of you kind of wondering where it's at. And there go the signals.
Yep.
And I think track speed's pretty low here because of the curves.
What we're getting to see here is one of the 3 or 4 cameras I had going.
Okay, you had a whole bunch set up.
Yeah, I did not end up editing anything for this. I just took some of my favorite shots.
Oh, Brandon's saying I took a photo. I took a photo and I loved that photo with that golden light on the train. Brandon, you can go grab it from my Facebook. I don't care if people use my photos or take my photos.
Yeah, that photo or the shots you got, Michelle, on your phone were just stunning.
Yeah, there's that. So if you guys ever come visit me and want to go rail fanning, this is like where I go. This is my favorite spot. So
I can say it's very much worth it if you can get Michelle to go rail fanning.
I have time and I can go out with you. I will take you there.
Yeah. She knows all the good spots.
Yeah,
And all
except
the
for
good
that one
people.
at Crescent. I gotta go find that one that John took that picture of at Crescent. I haven't done that one yet, so learned
Yeah.
that tonight.
I want to share another one real quick here
Mhm.
that is also has Shasta in it. And this was from a spot called, now I'm not sure how they pronounce it. I'm going to say Warden. It's Worden. And if I remember right, that is the first sort of civilization that you come across when you get into Oregon from northern California. And this is the train coming around the corner and going across. Well, you'll hear the grade crossing signals.
That mountain peak is just fabulous.
Yeah, that's Shasta. That's a world famous look, And this was a trip that I took. I said it was in 2016 earlier, but I think, hang on a second, let me turn that down a little bit. I think it was actually 2017 when we took this trip. This is a shot off of the very first ever Chasing Trains video that I ever made.
Ah.
It looks like the cover to a magazine to me or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, like you could see the headline up in the sky there. Like this would be a good
Yeah.
cover shot and see room for text with the sky and everything is just pops out.
Yeah. To answer Jeff Pierce, it's kind of near McLeod River. McLeod is actually south of this place. But anyway, that's that.
Cool. So let's
Yeah.
see. I've ridden Amtrak actually more than thinking about it here. I rode the Surfliner. I think was the first time I really rode Amtrak
Okay.
from San Juan Capistrano to San Diego, and that was fabulous. And we took it in the morning and went on the whole battleship, the Midway, and then came back
Mhm.
and got on the train in the evening and went back to San Juan Capistrano. So like you can do that as a tourist.
Yeah.
I've taken the corridor from Boston to Philadelphia and into New York City a few times. And I tell you, the East Coast Amtrak is the way to travel. I
Yeah.
love doing that.
Yeah.
Um,
I've heard the same.
yeah. In fact, the trip from Boston to Philadelphia to me was like a tourism trip because I got to go through Rhode Island and Connecticut and all these places I'd never been. And you go along the coast and it is beautiful. It is truly a beautiful trip. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I would do that again. And then when you go that way, you come into New York City from the east and you kind of circle the city and you get to see Manhattan from the train and it's beautiful. Because I was super disappointed. The first time I rode from Philadelphia to New York City, you go underground before you can ever see the city. So you're underground
Mhm.
what seems like forever, and then you end up in the station and you keep going up and up and up, and you come out at Madison Square Garden in the middle of the city.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
that was interesting.
Yeah. Well, can I bring you on? We're coming up against our time,
Yep.
Michelle, and I
Go for
still
it.
have some videos that I'd like to share, but we
Share
have a
'em.
couple regulars that want to come on. So why don't we bring Dave real quick? Dave, welcome back.
Hi,
Be
Dave.
brief. Yeah, be brief though, because I always go over and I'm always worried that Michelle's going to starve.
Well, tonight I'm not going to starve, but my ears hurt because I had to wear these tonight to make it
Yeah.
work.
Well, Michelle, you are right. We do have that wigwag install or the signal install that John took a photo of. If John is okay, I can share you or show you where it is on the museum grounds, if it works.
Yeah, we can try. I'm not seeing anything coming up though, Dave.
Dave, to share a photo, it has to be in PowerPoint. It's really weird.
You might be able to share it straight off your screen.
If you
Here
have
we
two
go.
screens.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
got it. Here we go.
Oh, cool. Look at that. Oh, and the Santa
Yeah.
Fe sign next to it. That's
So
nice.
this was on top of the Railroad Exchange building in downtown Chicago, and as
Huh.
John mentioned, that's that same signal on the Raton Pass. This is
That is
fully
so cool.
operational as well.
I'm so glad you guys got it. I was worried where they were going when they were taking
This is
them
some of
down.
the innards inside of it, and as you can see, it's refurbished by the Springfield Signal Shop, April of 2021. So this is the inside of that little tiny box.
That's cool.
That is
Thanks,
really
Dave.
cool.
Thanks for sharing that. That's neat to see where it's going to reside forever now so we can go see it.
And it is operational. It does work.
That's
Because
awesome.
what we're doing, or at least the museum's trying to do, is get that operational
by the public, so all they got to do is flip a switch and they can change it themselves.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The more I see from the IRM, the more I want to go there.
I know
So
I need
thanks
to
for
go
sharing.
too. I have a credit with Delta because of COVID, and I'm like, I should just go to Chicago.
I mean, you went to Milwaukee. You should just went
I should
to the
just go to
south.
Chicago, but I don't want to go to Chicago in the winter. No offense.
I mean,
You
it's
probably don't want to
70s
go in the
here.
summer either.
It's like 60s here and no white stuff yet either. But we also have 60-mile-per-hour winds coming in later as well.
Yeah, we had those winds today. We had like 100-mile-an-hour wind around here today. It was horrible.
They're blowing their way to Chicago.
Blowing
and
up
it
to
takes
Chicago.
that long to get
Yep,
there. It's the
coming
same
right
wind.
at you. So if I'd
Yeah.
let a little feather go, it might have ended up over there tomorrow.
There you go. I like the way you think, Michelle, because I was going to say spit in the wind and it would hit Dave in a couple of days.
Oh,
but,
and I'm all sweet. And a little feather.
right, a little feather is much nicer.
But when you had the other guest on there, the tree that he put up, that Christmas tree, if you ever come out to Chicago, it is nothing but railroad plaques, railroad ornaments. Every
saw photos of
single
that.
railroad.
They
is
took
on
all the
that tree.
logos and
Yep.
made them into like signs like this big, and they're all over that Christmas tree.
And it's no matter which way you take a photo of it, it's all the same ones.
Nice.
Someone
That's
sent me a
really
picture
nice.
of that.
Yeah,
You know,
I saw photos this year.
Actually, I do have a picture of that someplace.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah, we'll look for the picture next time because I want to bring Robert on. So
That's fine.
okay, cool.
So
Thanks,
happy
Dave.
holidays, and we'll see you guys
Bye, Dave.
next month then.
Yep,
Yeah.
same to you. Happy New Year too. I'll see you
Yep.
next year.
We'll see
See
you.
you guys
Or
next
we'll-
year.
Yeah, or we'll see you on Sparky's thing if you go to that.
If I'm around, but yes.
Cool. All right.
I see Jeff is talking about the Rio Grande sign. Like they had the Santa Fe sign, the Rio Grande sign from Salt Lake City. I actually photographed that right before it was taken up to Heber Valley. So I was excited I got to see it in its original location. But yeah,
One
I'm
thing
glad
I'm
they
gonna-
preserved it. So
Yeah, one thing I'm going to say is that I'm really glad that all these sort of historic things, it sucks that they're gone, but it's great that they're preserved somewhere. And
Yes.
that's one of the reasons why I'm always harping on and beating the drums for support your local historic preservation societies, because they preserve all that stuff, or a lot of that stuff. And unfortunately, you can't preserve everything, but
at
for-
least you can see those big signs and those really
Yeah.
iconic things.
Right. That's why, Michelle, when we did the layout tour at your museum, I'm like, no, we got to talk about this other stuff too, because it's not just a layout, it's a museum. Oh, speaking of that, I want to do a shameless plug here. The Colorado Model Railroad Museum layout tour video came out last Saturday, 4 days ago. And it has something like 22,000 views already.
Oh my
which
gosh.
just
Well,
blew my mind. It's
well, you did such a good job with it, John. Thank you so much for making that. I've gotten
Well-
feedback from a lot of people that they really enjoyed it. It's a really good overview of the museum.
Well, thank you.
Did
I
a
thought
great
you
job.
and Bob did a good job, and a special shout out to Carl, who showed us around the first time we were out there, who did a great job showing us around. I mean, I think if we didn't have the time that we had with Carl when we were there the first time, I would have been lost trying to come back and shoot those.
And shoot it in the time
scenes.
that you had, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's my hat goes off to him as well. So anyway, let me bring Robert on. He said he had a story about deadheading. If you have time, Robert, if you're there, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Hello, can you hear me?
Mhm.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
Hey, it's great. Yeah, I'm having camera problems. I don't know why. So you're looking at the one little building. It's called the Martin Valley Dairy that I built. That's going to be judged for AP. So that's
Oh,
the
cool.
picture you got.
Well, good luck
Yeah,
with that.
I'm going to make it quick. Deadheading is real fun on Amtrak. Well,
Okay.
we have up here, we have the Cascade, and we have 14 and 11 comes around. Well,
Right.
the first one was, it's around this time, I got deadheaded down on Cascade, a fellow engineer and me, and we were talking about, who's going to be the engineer on this one? Well, who pops up is my friend Carl Kluntz, who used to be an engineer for the UP, was the engineer for that. So it was a great trip, because one thing they do on Amtrak on the Cascade for BN and UP engineers and conductors is they go and they put you in the 9 car. It's the farthest one. They don't try to fill it up. And that's what we call the deadhead car. And we always ask for the deadhead car. They get us down there because you have to walk from King Street. You have to walk all the way down to the end where the engine is. But when you get off at Portland, you're the first one off, you know. Well,
Right.
what happened is I got my rest and all this, and I got called for a dog catch. And I go, wait a minute, we don't dog catch. Well, it snowed. And Amtrak's the only thing that's running. And we're trying to get everybody home for Christmas. So my conductor and I got on board, plus a couple of other crews got on board, plus BN crews. So the grace of God of Amtrak, they were the 7th Cavalry, and they were rescuing these stranded trains all along the line, you know. And we stopped, you know, people are asking, why is this train stopping like a milk run? And the guy has explained, we're relieving crews. You know, crews come on, the other ones get off so we can get moving because we're trying to get the trains moved and all this bit. Well, the train that we got was north of Centralia. Amtrak stopped, and my conductor says, "Oh, it doesn't look like it's that deep." So he jumps off, and he went up to his knees, up to his knees in snow. So we had to plow it. Yeah, we had to plow and all that bit, and they picked up that one, and they had another crew that had to go up ahead of time. The other time is every time we deadhead on Amtrak, we sometimes get the 10 car, and people don't know what the 10 car is. The 10 car is the one car right after the baggage car. And it's the crew dormitory car, and it has a lounge there for all the crews and all that bit. So we use that, or we use one of the coach cars, and we use the down. They always put us in the down below area. And the fun thing about that is we knew the car attendant. So he put us down there. It's mostly for a handicap and all that, but there's nobody using it. So that's where the crews were. We got the downstairs. He comes back and he has this big giant tray with aluminum foil on it. And he goes along and says, "Just got back from the kitchen. I got cookies."
Cookies.
We got cookies, you know, and it's fun, you know. There's many times. I saw in the comment that one person said about the old Santa Fe, Santa Fe lounge car. Well, the Coast Starlight, and even that person just showed a photo of it, and you showed a video of it on the Coast Starlight. It's the one that's a little bit lower on the roof, has all those windows. That's the what they call the Pacific Palisade. And it's only right now running on the Coast Starlight. Mm-hmm. So that is the Santa Fe, and they refurbished it up and all that. But for us railroad guys, we call it the B-29 because of all the windows.
Yeah.
And the last thing is,
sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
No, I'm letting you go so that we can start wrapping it up.
Okay. Well, basically is that for us, we like Amtrak and all that bit, and you know that deadheading when it's snow and all that bit, and you can't get crew haulers or anything like that, they are a blessing. But it's fun. You just get called on a deadhead and get the ride and get paid for it while you're doing it too.
Cool.
You know,
like getting paid while you relax.
Oh yeah, especially with my one conductor, my one engineer buddy Tom, who he gets in the deadhead car, he takes off his boots and all that, sets them aside, and puts on these big giant bear slippers on, and he just relaxes away. You know, it's just one of those things. But I mean, it's still going on up here. I mean, the corridor is just heavy up here. And you need to try to get a chance to get up here to Seattle and all that bit and take the Coast Starlight. I want to try.
That sounds fun. I haven't ridden that one. I'll someday get it. I'll get there.
I want to do the California Zephyr, you know, and all that big, because what we have
Yeah.
up north is the Empire Builder that goes along
Which
the
I hear is
sound.
pretty though. I'd love to
Oh,
ride
it's
from
beautiful.
Chicago up to Seattle, so that's
Yeah.
it's on the list.
I can recommend without any hesitation the trip between Reno and Emeryville, or even Reno and Roseville, because you go over the Sierra and it's just really amazing scenery. And the best thing about it, I think, is that you're not having to drive, so you can really relax and see what you're looking at. And they time it so that that part of the trip is during the day. So if it's not running real late or anything like that, you see everything in over the Sierra Nevada mountains, and it's really beautiful. The other thing is you get views that you don't get from the road anyway, which is another bonus for that for not being driving, because you're seeing stuff that's sometimes a couple miles away from the road or the highway.
On the California Zephyr, the train is the only thing in some of those canyons. Gore
Right?
Canyon, it's
Yeah,
only the
exactly.
train.
Exactly. Now, I mean, it does come up to where the highway is. In some places, it's very close to the highway, but everywhere else, it's just amazing what you can see. And views of Donner Lake, for example, from way up on the ridge, or it's just really cool. You can see some of that stuff. I was posting links into the chat about the trip that I took on the Zephyr, because I was filming almost felt like the whole time on our trip out there, and I put some highlights of that. Once you get past Reno, sorry Nevada, but it's kind of boring. I mean, it's kind of the same scenery. It's just this desert. It's still pretty, but it's kind of the same for hours and hours and hours. And frankly, getting to the point where you're approaching the eastern edges of Nevada into Salt Lake City, it's kind of boring scenery, and you don't miss a lot because it's at night, So anyway.
Andy's
Anyway,
asking which is better, the Empire Builder or the Zephyr. I haven't ridden both. I love the Zephyr. It's gorgeous. I don't know. I haven't ridden the Empire Builder.
Well,
yeah, I'm sure going over the Rockies on the Zephyr must be something
for me,
similar or better than going over the Sierra on the Zephyr. So anyway, is there?
well, yeah.
Is there anything else, Robert?
Or the Empire Builder.
Oh.
Huh?
We have
You're
a viewer
kind of
who's-
breaking up. I was saying that.
I was asking if there's anything else on your mind. Uh-oh.
No, just this Friday is going to be, I'm going to turn Route 66.
Well, happy birthday.
My birthday
Yeah.
is on Friday.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
That means
somebody
you'll be able-
sent me a shirt that says Route 66 on it.
Yeah. We'll have to hopefully remember you're older and wiser next time we talk to you.
All right. Well,
Thanks
thank you,
a lot.
Robert. Nice to talk
Right
to
on.
you.
Yep. Thanks for calling in.
Happy
again.
holidays, Merry
Yep.
Christmas. all
Merry
that good.
Christmas.
Yeah.
See ya.
Always
Merry
nice to hear
Christmas.
you, Robert. Thank you. Cool. Do we have time for any more videos or no?
Let's round it out with a video for sure. Always time
about-
for rail fan videos.
How about let's say 2 videos. They're
Okay.
not that long. Yeah,
All right.
these videos
Then we'll
aren't
wrap
that
it up.
long. Yeah, these
Go
videos
for
aren't
it.
that long. So I live in a place that's right along what's called the coastline, and this is a video of the Coast Starlight going right under me. I was on a pedestrian overpass at a place called the Blossom Hill Station, and I'll make it take a little bit less time by fast forwarding a little. It comes
There
up
it
on
is.
us pretty. Yeah, it comes up on us pretty quick. You'll see, because at this place they can do 79 miles an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's coming fast. That's cool. That's a view we don't often see.
Yeah,
Oh, that roof's totally different. And look at the dome. That was cool.
yeah. That's one of my favorite shots that I've taken sort of close to home. And let me see. The other one is a very unusual train that came through much earlier this year. Let me see if I can find it here. I think it's this. This was in March. And I think this is the one. Robert will recognize this, I think, because these are some cars that they were using up in the Pacific Northwest, and they were on their way to be scrapped because they're not going to use them anymore. I think it had something to do with some accident that happened or something. So instead of fixing whatever process that they have, they decided to just scrap the cars.
Oh,
They
that
called
is
this-
different looking. Look at that.
Yeah, we called this the Calgo funeral procession train because all those cars are going to
Going to
meet their
scrap?
maker. Yeah.
What's this bump for right here?
I think that's an aerodynamic thing. And
It's just pretty.
Yeah, these were used on the Pacific Northwest.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Gives
I
it that
couldn't-
airline look maybe.
Yeah,
Like
I
wings on
couldn't
the
tell you-
train.
couldn't tell you much more. I've seen pictures and videos of those with usually F40s on the front, but I think they put F59s on the front as well. And I'm gonna look at my collection here one more
Okay, see
time.
if there's any others you want to show.
Yeah, just to see if there's anything else worth showing that's unusual or different. Boy, I put a whole bunch on here. Oh, what do I show? What do I show, Michelle?
You randomly picked the third one down. I have no
The
idea.
third one? But the third one's not that good. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so not that one then.
I'll pick the first one just because it shows something that we were talking about earlier. So it's kind of relevant to what we were talking about, which is a shot of a train with something other than an Amtrak.
Oh
in the
yeah,
lead, right?
Look at that. That looks crazy. That just looks so wrong.
Well, they have to get to where they're going. So
Yeah. And I think somebody asked if it like had to be UP. That's for
Yeah, I think-
Charles's trip. That was a joint line. It could have been just as easily BNSF as UP. I think it's whoever is close and has power.
Oh, you mean in terms of what kind of power gets put on? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that has to do with whatever's in proximity.
Right.
But I'm 99% certain that the Amtrak engineer has the authority because they are qualified on all those lines.
right.
There might have to be some other UP employee or BNSF employee of some sort, or maybe an Amtrak supervisor or something. But I don't really know the answer to that. I know people who would know the answers to those questions, but I don't.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, we've gone only 15 minutes over this
That's
time, so
pretty
I won't
good for
feel
us.
I won't feel too guilty. That's probably
Well, thanks
a
for
new
the
record of-
Amtrak episode. I was thinking when we were talking about snow plows, I'm like, ooh, in January we could do a snow theme, trains in the snow and snow plows or whatever.
Oh, huh.
That might be fun.
I don't know how much I can contribute because I'm not sure I have anything in the snow or much in the archives in the snow.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't really either. I don't know. I just thought it's a good.
Oh,
I'd
but
love
it
to
snows
see
there.
it.
Why don't you have any snow stuff?
Well, you'd think I would. I have Big Boy in the snow. I have a lot of that.
Yeah, but it was dark, wasn't it?
No, when it came through in November, I
Oh.
shoveled that whole morning because we had a blizzard.
Right.
So,
Well,
but I'd love to see if anybody had great video, maybe we could, if somebody's a guest and they went and saw like the Cumberland and Toltec Rotary or something like that and would like to share it. I'd love to see that in the next couple months through the winter.
sure, that could
So-
be cool.
Yeah, contact us if you have something you'd like to share about snow.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that too. One of the things in doing a show like this is that all the ideas generally come from either Michelle or from me, and I'm not always good at coming up with ideas. So if you have an idea for a show that you'd like to see us do, then by all means put it in the comments section below the video if you're watching on the replay, or you're welcome to put it in our live chat here now if you have an idea for a show that we could do.
Yeah.
And
Send us a message or
yeah, there's that too. You can always use my email address that I use for my podcast, which is podcast@tsgmultimedia.com if you want to send an idea in. Or if you know one of us, there's 100 ways to get
there's
in
a
touch
bunch.
with us.
I just put my email in chat today. It's my work email, so feel free to michelle@cmrm.org. It's pretty easy.
Well, there we go. So anyway, I do
right.
want to take just a second in our wrap up to talk about, again, the fact that the Model Railroad Museum, Colorado Model Railroad Museum layout tour came out last Saturday. If you haven't seen it, it's worth watching. They did a great job showing a really huge layout in a record amount of time. I was
Yeah, I
really
was
impressed
impressed with the
that,
time.
right? I mean, Bob was so concise. It was like, this is great. Like he should be a news guy or something. Just the facts, you know. But also, I do want to mention that this Saturday at 9 a.m., it's going to be TSG live model railroading. It's kind of a special
Oh,
episode, right?
okay.
Normally, I alternate the live model railroading episodes with the model railroading with Jack Burgess, which is coming out a week from Saturday on Christmas Day. So it's like a Christmas present to the world. But on this Saturday, I'm going to be talking with my friend and a co-presenter actually at the last national in-person national convention, Seth Newman,
Oh,
who's
nice. Yeah.
right. He's very much into operations and actually one of the co-authors on the OpSig book about operations. So he's really, really knowledgeable. He's a great guy, a great friend, and boy, he really goes when you hike with him. Let me tell you, he gets his hiking pole things, and it's hard to keep up with the guy. But he's going to be here, and we're going to do a
Okay.
show all about the operations side of model railroading. And I should mention that, sorry, Michelle, I'm doing a long ending. I'm not.
You're fine. No,
intending-
you're fine. You're
yeah,
giving
not-
us information. Keep
yeah, not
going.
intending to hold you over because I'm sure you're hungry by now, or your ears hurt like hell from the earphones. But
It's
what
okay.
we're doing is, right, in February, we're going to have basically it's an annual meet that gets held, and it's put on by the Layout Design Special Interest Group, LDSIG. But really, I mean, all these guys are part of the OpSig and the LDSIG and the PCR and the NMRA and all these groups. It's basically the people that really make things go. And we're going to be doing an in-person as long as, COVID permits it, because, now we have this stupid Omicron thing that hopefully it'll be gone by then. But anyway, we're going to do an in-person event at the Santa Clara Depot, and we're going to do a fully virtual event simultaneously. So it's a hybrid event. And I'm really excited about it because some people have said it can't be done, and we're going to do it in a
Awesome.
way, right? I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Right? We're going to do it in a way that works. But the most important part, and I can't stress this enough, is that by having it be hybrid, we're going to have this virtual side of it that anybody can go to. So anybody watching right now can go to this event. Anybody anywhere
That's
in the
cool.
world, right, can go to
Yeah.
this event, as well as the people who are local who can actually show up in person. So
Very cool.
I'm excited.
That's
Hopefully
exciting.
hopefully on Saturday we'll have more information about, how to sign up for it and all that.
Okay,
And
well, let's share all
anyway,
that out. I have one
yeah,
announcement before we go too. Well, it's not an
yeah,
announcement, but I just thought if we have any Texas viewers before the next show is the Plano, which is Dallas train show, and I'm going. I'll be
you're
there.
gonna go to
So
Texas?
come say hi. Yeah, I'm down there
Oh,
for a
cool.
tourism convention in Grapevine, and I'm just going to stay a couple extra days and go to the train show. So I'll be doing a
Oh,
bunch of rail fanning around Dallas and Fort Worth. So
that's really cool.
that's
Yeah,
like mid-January. It's the weekend before this show in January. So
yeah.
here we go.
When is that show in
Well,
January?
it's
It
going to
looks
be
like
like this.
the 19th.
Yeah, I was going to say the train show's the 15th, I think.
Oh, so
And
that's the weekend before. Well, I hope
yep.
you make it back in time
And then
for
I
our
go to
show.
Amherst right after the weekend after our show. I go to Boston.
Wow, right in January? Boy, that's going to be
And
snowy.
then there's this massive train show, the Amherst Railway Society show. So I'll be going to that.
Right,
It's the last weekend of the month. So
right. I'm all the way across the country, and even I've heard of that one.
it's big. So I get to do 2 train shows in January. That's like a Christmas present right there. So
Cool. Well, you're going to have
okay.
to take lots of pictures and share, at least from Dallas or
Yeah,
Dallas
and
area, and share those on our next live show.
can do. So thanks
Cool.
everybody for watching, and
Yeah.
check out John on
Ha-
stuff on Saturday. And
Yep.
thanks everybody. Hope that you enjoyed
Ha-
Amtrak today.
Yeah. Thanks for the idea, Michelle. That was great. And I want to wish everybody happy holidays, whatever you
Mhm.
celebrate, or
Yep.
even if you don't celebrate, then have a good day anyway. Or
I just say Merry
whatever.
Christmas. I'm old fashioned. Merry Christmas, everybody. But whatever you celebrate, I mean it for
I
that too.
right. I only prefer happy holidays because it doesn't assume anything. Because there are viewers who celebrate Hanukkah.
Right.
I
It's
don't
the
get uptight
intent.
though. It is exactly like if someone comes up to me and says Merry Christmas, I'm like, thanks. I appreciate it because it's the thought that counts. Anyway, all right.
All right.
Take care, everybody.
Bye,
Take care,
everybody.
Michelle. Happy Christmas to you
Thanks
too.
for
And
watching.
yeah, and we'll see everybody on this show next year in January.
Yep. And maybe Christmas Day.
Yep.
See ya.
Oh, right on Sparky's. Yeah,
Yep,
Sparky
Sparky
107 107 on Christmas Day. Adios.